What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom coming live and at you with another True Players podcast episode, hitting you with the in your face, unedited, straight, blunt talk about sports, finances, relationships, current events, and many other topics along the way. Check out my next episode. What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Don coming live and at you with another True Players podcast episode. This time with my brother JoeyG. I know you guys haven't seen us in a minute, being the ultimate tag team on the True Players podcast, but we're here. We're here right now, live on Facebook Live. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch TV. Any issues, any problems, any comments, feel free to reach out to us. We will answer your comments accordingly. So let me allow my brother JoeyG to introduce himself to the people.
All right. It's true. It's been a while. What's going on? This is your man JoeyG, host of Ego Tripping Podcast, co-host to the True Players Podcast, and co-host to Talking Random-ish with my man Ricky King. Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been working on some things behind the scenes, so that's why you haven't seen me. I've postponed doing my podcast because I'm trying to get everything in order. And once I got everything in order, we'll have more episodes to throw your way. And being that I'm working too, that's kind of throwing me off my game a little bit. But once we get that finances in order, then we can settle down with some more podcasts for your entertainment value.
Listen, we all have to understand life hits us in many ways, and nothing more than this past week what I had to deal with. At not just at work, but personally, business wise, I've been working on like JoeyG's working on deals. I'm working on deals beneath the surface. You know what I'm saying? This is the reality that JoeyG may not even know right now is I may not even be the host on True Players podcast on a full-time basis anymore. The True Players podcast will be running as usual, but I may not. There's going to be times it's going to be surely JoeyG co-hosting the podcast. There's going to be times someone else will jump in and host the podcast. The reason being is I'm working on so many different projects right now, and I feel the home run. I'm about to hit that home run, and I can't have distractions in the way. Distractions in the sense that, I work with people. I work with a lot of people, different people. I'm in the scenes. I'm in meetings all week. I'm not as available. And next week may be the same thing too. I may not be as available too. So everybody's is going to have to be on the schedule with me.
Right.
Calendar. I'm about to start sharing my Calendly links, and people have to be on with me on the calendar because I can't invest my time. When I'm working on big deals right now, I can't invest my time on something that's not that's going to get me to the bag. I'm just sorry to say it. Right. It's all about for me right now. It's all about getting to the bag. There's no friends when I'm trying to get to the bag. There's no such thing as mentors or mentees when I'm trying to get to the bag. I'm trying to get to the bag, and that's the objective. That's what JoeyG's been just told you in less words than I just told you now. It's about getting to the bag.
Right. Nothing personal.
Nothing personal. And the thing is too, bro, I don't want people to come out and say that, oh, I'm taking time out of my day to do something for me. What do you think I'm doing? You think I'm sitting at home twiddling my thumbs, doing nothing? No. I'm making moves just like you. If not, I'm probably making more moves than you.
Right.
JoeyG know my father very well. And I've been trained by that man. Duthel men are only about movement.
Right.
We don't sit still. We're always looking for that bag. We always looking for that improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But the main objective has always been to get to the bag by any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if people feel that their practice is more important than the True Players podcast, newsflash, that's not it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to hold me to the fire saying, "Oh, they did this for me, they did that for me." JoeyG knows how much sacrifices I did to the True Players podcast for other people.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen it. I even had a relative spoke to me last night about that shit. Like, yo, you got something going. You got something great going on with this podcast. Don't let nothing affect that shit. Don't let nothing affect that shit. I'm gonna heed. I'm starting to heed the advice. I'm gonna be a little bit more cold-hearted. You know, when I'll give people an hour of my time. That's what you're going to get. Nothing more. Not an hour and 0.01 seconds. No, you're gonna get the full hour.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you go over the hour and you continue to want to sit there and talk, I'm just going to say, boop. And the reason I'm giving this monologue before our great podcast tonight is because, like I said, I think people just actually believe that I sit there and don't do nothing. I work a 40-hour week at my regular job.
Mm-hmm.
I do this podcast. I'm working on podcasts episodes as we speak. JoeyG knows my writing skills. You know how much podcasts I've done put together that I haven't even been able to put out yet. I'm back on writing a live action Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been in the negotiations with this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get back to writing to that because that's where the bag is. That's where the bag is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially the writing part.
JoeyG has seen my work when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And JoeyG loves it. He loves the emotion involved. It's to the point I'm in the process of speaking with some producers. I'm like, listen, I need this. I don't want this in anime. I need a live action.
Right.
That's the only way we're gonna talk business or me handing over my writing or be signing any contracts about writing. This is real.
Right. It needs to be. In order to get the effect you're looking for, it needs to be live action.
Yeah. Man, JoeyG know my writing, man. That shit is the bomb. Someday you guys will see the actual writing in action. But on that note, let's just switch the dial because that's not the reason why we're on this podcast today. All right. I just had to make a public service announcement about that, the PSA. All right. So let's get back to why we're on the podcast tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to have one of my good high school classmates to join us, but he couldn't make it with us tonight. He'll definitely jump on with us the next time we do a part. If we do a part 2 to this, we'll definitely be on it. Yeah. It's because as I'm going through Facebook, social media on my downtime, I noticed there was a post saying that Marvel is planning to do a soft reboot after Phase 6, in which Kevin Feige would like to bring back Chris Evans as Captain America, and possibly Robert Downey Jr. back as Iron Man. And when I was looking at it was on Google, so Google and Facebook actually was both mentioned on that. As I was looking through I was reading through it a little bit. They mentioned different actors to assume those roles because, as you guys do know, Robert Downey Jr.'s contract has expired. Chris Evans has retired from acting. And Chris Hemsworth also's contract has expired with MCU. So now, if those guys don't come back to reprise their roles, who should take on the mantle of Iron Man, Captain America, Thor? And I'm also going to hit you guys with something else too. This is the opportunity where Black Panther can be recast officially. Right. Without disrespecting the memory of the great work of Chadwick Boseman. JoeyG, what do you think about that?
I think this would be a prime time to do it. I think he would want it to continue.
Mhm.
If you could recast somebody that fits the legacy, I say the
Mhm.
legacy of Chikala, um, then go for it. Why not? Why not? Wakanda Forever was okay, but it was missing the king. It was missing the
Mhm.
king. So we have to get back to that if we can, to continue the storyline. There's a lot of
Mhm.
kids out there that I know would love to see that. A lot of adults out there that would love to see it also.
Mhm.
Um, as far as the casting of the other characters, if they had to reprise them, it would be good. I just hope they're just as good as the originals,
Mhm.
because you know how we put somebody else in the seat to take over the wheel and it doesn't hit right. Like, I'll give you an example. Punisher. How
Mhm.
many phases of Punisher did we go through before we're like, hit, miss, not so much. Then we got to the series and it was like just right.
Yeah.
Just right. Like, he fit the whole package. There was a
Mhm.
couple of them that hit the action part of it,
Mhm.
hit it just right, but they were
Mhm.
missing the compassion part outside of that,
Mhm.
where you just couldn't take them seriously just on a day-to-day basis. So you just have no feelings, no emotions, and you just walking through life like nothing. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm not with that. John Travolta, take him out of the movie. Um, No, but you had those where it was kind of like a mesh of the comic book meets real world, and
Mhm.
where one left off, the other one began, and it was just kind of messy as far as that was concerned. For me, my point of view, and
Mhm.
me being a Punisher fan, which is probably one of two comics that I actually enjoyed reading when I was younger. So looking
Mhm.
at the screen and seeing it live, I'm like, might as well be a cartoon to me.
Mhm.
Like, you could have put this in anime, and I would have been happy about it. But
Mhm.
live screen, no, no, not for what you're doing live screen. Uh, the first two movies, I'll say, Dolph Lundgren was the first Punisher, and then after that, Harvey Two Face.
Oh, which one? Which Harvey Two Face? Which one though?
the
In the
the
Dark
one
Knight
on the
series?
Dark Knight series.
Okay.
Dark Knight series, that Harvey. Him playing the Punisher role, I was just like, I get it, but no.
Hmm.
Then after that, Punisher War Journal, he was good. He had the comic book look.
Mhm.
He had the action skills to pull it off.
Mhm.
The storyline wasn't really good. It was more based off a comic book. Like,
Mhm.
I'll give you an example, like Batman Forever.
Mhm.
It was that style. Like, I was like, not for the Punisher. Don't do that.
Mhm.
But when we got to the series, we got to the nitty gritty of the Punisher. Like, yeah, you understand the motivation, you understand his determination. Even if he's about to lose, understand that he's gonna find a way because he's a survivor first. He's
Mhm.
survivor first. He's gonna find that way. That one little thing, that one little mistake that you make, he's gonna capitalize on that.
Mhm.
When they left him in the cell and they closed the door and the
Mhm.
screen went black and you didn't see him till next season and there were
Mhm.
just bodies all over the floor, I was like, I love this guy. I love it. I love this guy. But getting back
Mhm.
to what we were talking about as far as reprisals,
Mhm.
in the role of uh the Avengers,
Mhm.
like I said, they have big shoes to fill. I hope we can get the originals back due to the contract expiring and everything like that. I hope they can work something out. If they
Mhm.
can't, then we need to find good replacements that can, if not supersede what they've done before,
Mhm.
or just be just as good.
Mhm.
I'd be happy with that. I don't know who they would have cast for Thor.
Yeah, that's the toughest one for me. But I got
Yeah.
I do got somebody for Iron Man if they don't if RDJ doesn't come back,
Ooh,
and for Chris Evans, I don't have a real strong person who could take over that role of Captain America the way he did it. Remember, Chris Evans went from Human Torch to
right,
Captain America.
right, right.
And that's the point that you people don't understand. And it's
Mhm.
from two different studios too. The
Right,
Fox studio was Fantastic Four, that original Fantastic Four,
right,
and then the MCU studios for
right,
Captain America. Um, and for me, watch Chris Evans. He still in the first Captain America. I still saw Human Torch. It wasn't until Winter Soldier, the movie Winter Soldier came. For
right,
me, he became Captain America,
right.
with the Winter Soldier um, movie. My question to you, bro. I have a
Hmm.
very good question to you before we get into it.
Hmm.
Right now, out of those three characters, out of those three actors, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Chris
Hmm.
Evans, who do you see most likely working out a contract and coming back? In your opinion?
Robert Downey Jr. I think Robert Downey Jr. would take it because it, you know how Batman had the stigma of I did that already. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain actors that played Batman and they were just like I did that already. I'm not going back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But realized it was a major part of their acting
Mm-hmm.
and it generated so much fans and so, like reestablished them.
Mm-hmm.
um Iron Man is one of those roles that I think did it for Robert Downey Jr., got him back into the acting um major roles,
Mm-hmm.
because I know he's still doing work behind the scenes and stuff like that, movies that we probably didn't pay too much attention to until after the reprisal of Iron Man. But I would say Robert Downey Jr. To answer your question.
I have to agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that with Robert Downey Jr. That role saved his acting career. It
Right,
kind of it resurrected his acting career and it saved his acting career.
right.
I have no problems with him coming back,
Mm-hmm.
but the flip side is people will say that he's too old to reprise that role. And the thing is, too, when you come off a high of playing that role of Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
anything after that
That's
is a
it.
letdown. You
Right.
got Sherlock Holmes. He did Sherlock Holmes. What other movies did he do?
That was before Sherlock Holmes was before. He
Oh,
did, and he did like three of those movies, if I'm not mistaken.
mm-hmm,
He did three of those movies. I liked them. I liked them. It was a different take on Sherlock Holmes. There's two versions. Um, Cumberbund was the other Sherlock Holmes.
which one? The Doctor
Uh,
Strange.
Doctor Strange. He did a version of Sherlock Holmes. I liked his version. I think it was a BBC version, but still, like I said, everybody who puts in the role, they do it a living their own twist.
Mm-hmm,
And if you had to place them side by side, they both did an excellent job. The
right,
writing was good on both ends, so it's like
right.
no miss on that. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. did a lot of movies, and rules and movies that he wasn't really taken too seriously in.
Right.
But um, like what was that other movie he did with Tropic Thunder? he got he got flack he got flack for Tropic Thunder, but it to me I laughed because it
Mm-hmm,
showed his comedic chops in the movie and his willingness to be bold in his acting.
mm-hmm,
Don't take me seriously. You could hate the role that I'm playing, but understand that I'm just playing a role that's playing a role.
mm-hmm,
And that to me that was funny. Regardless of how people feel on the outside, it was almost a white person doing blackface making fun of himself doing blackface. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
right.
what the role was.
Mm-hmm,
Like he was getting on himself for doing the role,
Mm-hmm.
and taking himself seriously in the role. It's like, what? You don't take me seriously? So,
But let me tell you something, bro. Now, let me if I ask, because when I was reading the article or whatever, the when you click on a link and you read this shit.
mhm,
Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, he does not come back as Iron Man.
okay,
In the article that
possibility.
I was in the article that I was reading, right?
Mhm,
It showed that after Kang, the Kang dynasty comes in
mhm,
and really caused some trouble. We saw a glimpse of it in Ant-Man and the Quantum Mania
right.
movie. We saw a
That
glimpse of that.
that and they touched on it in Loki the series.
Oh, don't talk about
Uh,
Loki. I haven't watched it yet. I don't.
no,
We
I'm just
third
saying.
came out.
I'm just saying they touched on it on Loki a little bit. Like there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Loki
Right.
is a chain of events that's happening over here. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. King the Conqueror and that whole dynasty that they have. Um, let's not forget the Spider Verse,
Yes.
the Miles Morales version,
Yes.
the cartoon version, Into the Spider Verse, and Far Away from Home. That Spider Man.
Right.
Um, all of
No, no,
that
no, no way home. No way
No
home.
Way
No way
Home, No Way Home, all of that together.
home.
So all of that's going on at the same time and
Hmm.
on um different dimensions.
Don't forget X-Men. Don't forget not X-Men. Don't forget Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange too. Doctor Strange, matter of fact, Doctor Strange is the one pretty much in the middle of all of that.
Hmm. True.
he, he
True.
he's in the middle of that, and we have yet to figure out what's going to happen on his end
Hmm.
because of what he did.
Hmm.
It opened up some doors that we don't know about yet. Yeah, it leads into Blade. It leads into what was that? Morbius.
Hmm.
Morbius was there, but it's gonna tie together. It's all gonna tie together.
Bro, let's not get ahead of ourselves because I want to talk about the Blade aspect a little bit
Oh,
later in the show.
we could do that too.
We're gonna talk about it a little bit later in the show.
Mhm,
I think we may have to split this episode because
mhm.
we won't be on for like 50 minutes, but
Right, right, right.
we're gonna get on this
Mhm.
now. According to the article that I was reading, right,
Okay.
it did mention when Kang comes in and really mess things up and really tries to reset everything.
Mhm.
We could see a different Iron Man as far as persona goes,
Okay.
a more darker version of Iron Man.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the article didn't mention Colin Farrell as a possibility as the Tony Stark.
Okay.
If they do go dark with him,
Mhm.
I believe they did mention Ryan Gosling in the
Okay.
article. If I don't remember, he's a big no. No,
Okay.
possibly for Captain America, but not
Mhm.
for Iron Man. Who else did they mention? I forgot who else they mentioned,
Tom
but
Cruise.
Tom. No, 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 no. I don't
We have to say it for the podcast. I know you don't want to even bring it up, but we have to say it for the
leave
podcast.
that weirdo to Mission Impossible and Edge of Tomorrow, whatever those movies he be doing. You know what I'm saying? Leave him to that.
Listen, I'm gonna sum up every movie that I've seen Tom Cruise in. Tom Cruise does Tom Cruise in every movie. If you've seen Zoolander, you know what I'm talking about. He has one look.
Mm-hmm.
He has one look.
Mm-hmm.
Magnum. That's it. Every movie.
Mm-hmm.
Strictly Business. All the way back to Strictly Business.
Mm-hmm.
He acts pretty much the same way. Yes, he's gotten more serious in his
Mm-hmm.
facial expressions, and you could take that you could take that however you want it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you've seen one Tom Cruise movie, you've probably seen them all.
Right.
Action wise, yeah, you probably like the stunts and everything like that. But it's Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise.
Right.
It's kind of like watching a Chuck Norris movie. We know what Chuck is about to do. Roundhouse kick to the face.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? After a while, you see one movie, you know what he's about to do. So we just
Definitely.
waiting. Okay, Tom Cruise is going to be Tom Cruise.
Right.
That's it. So as far as him being Iron Man, it's going to take away from the character. I would rather, and this would it would throw everybody off. And I know
Mhm.
he's a bit older, but
Mhm.
I would take our favorite Batman and put him in the suit and put him in the Iron Man suit.
Which one? Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton.
Nah, he's already already the vulture. He's already the vulture in the MCU, man. You can't do it. He's already the vulture.
Okay.
And I'm still we have to do another episode about the Flash movie because a lot of people gave it bad reviews. I thought it was actually good, but I didn't like the fact they killed off the Michael Keaton Batman though. I
Right.
didn't like that shit at all.
I didn't like the way they ended what they felt was like a end to that. I didn't like that. I
George
didn't like it
Clooney,
either.
George Clooney,
I
George
felt
Clooney.
I felt like the Flash at the end of the movie. What the fuck?
You should have, if that was a time we should have brought back Christian Bale for that cameo.
That would have felt better.
Mm-hmm. But
That
that's bro. That has to be another episode. That has to be on. No, not just another episode. It should be episode on ego tripping with Joey
yeah,
G.
we could do that. We could do that. Definitely
You
do
know what
that.
I'm saying?
I'll talk DC.
We're gonna leave that to you. I'm gonna talk more for you. Keep the DC.
I'll
But
talk. You
we can
see,
go.
DC's in the mix behind me.
Remember
Don't get it
DC.
twisted.
Remember DC has a multiverse too.
Yeah, it does. They call it Earths though.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mix it up like Marvel did.
Mm-hmm.
They how DC handles it is they have different Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Earths plural. So it's like Earth 81. So it's explained. So if we have a different a writer for this Batman, then it's Earth whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that own world for that writer.
Right.
We can appreciate that.
Right.
We can appreciate that. Now, as far as Marvel is concerned, yeah, everything's intertwining. So we're gonna have to prune some branches. Yeah, we're gonna have a fight with Fox. So that Spider-Man that you knew growing up, yeah, we're just gonna cut him totally out of the picture, and then maybe bring him back later after we figure this whole thing out.
Definitely. So now let's. I think you and I are both in agreement. If they
No,
bring back a darker version of Iron Man, you have to go with Colin Farrell. You have to go with him. You have to go with him. It makes sense.
I'm trying to think who I can rebuttal that with. Colin Farrell's a good one. He's strong.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think because I haven't watched a lot of movies lately, and there's nobody then been on my radar like that.
Has to be Colin Farrell. Has to be.
I got something for you. If we were to take somebody from Game of Thrones, who would you take from Game of Thrones and put him in that role?
The people who I would consider already have roles in MCU anyway. Whether it's Rob Stark and Jon Snow, they already got roles in MCU. You can't flip them now.
Yeah, I know he has that. That's coming up soon.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
coming up soon.
The Black Knight, and
Black
then
Knight.
The Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Icarus. Rob Stark is Icarus. So you can't do that. What? Littlefinger? Littlefinger?
I would
no.
I wouldn't put him there. I wouldn't put Littlefinger there. I would put him as Doctor Strange. If they recast Doctor Strange, Littlefinger would be the perfect Doctor Strange.
You got it. But they're not gonna do that though, because this is actually Benedict Cumberbatch is gonna be the face. Him, Brie Larson, and Tom Holland are supposed to be the new Trinity of MCU now.
Okay.
That's what they're pushing now. New Trinity. Remember, the Trinity was originally Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Evans.
Right.
They're trying to push now Tom Holland, Brie Larson, which I thought for a second they weren't even going to use her anymore as Ms. Marvel. And I think the third person, it wasn't Benedict Cumberbatch. It was supposed to be Chadwick Boseman before he died. According to the article that I read, that it was supposed to be those three: Chadwick Boseman, Tom Holland, and Brie Larson. So okay. The Game of Thrones. Let's see who else could be Iron Man. You mentioned Game of Thrones. And you're not gonna bring me to another episode. We still have to do part 2. Anyway. Shoot. Who else could reprise Iron Man? A young upstart actor. What's that dude? You think that dude? I think that dude, the werewolf dude in True Blood.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Magniello or something like that.
I know who you're talking about. Big dude.
The big dude, yeah.
Yeah, the one that could be Aquaman's rival.
Yeah. But I honestly don't think his strength as an actor for that role of Iron Man would fit that.
But he could play the dark role though. I feel like he could do the dark role. Like he couldn't play Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Iron Man, that charismatic part. But I think he could pull off the dark part.
But you keep in mind, Robert Downey Jr. was pulling the dark part in Civil War. In parts.
Well, he went dark.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good actor, period. But he's gotten to the part where he knows how to draw that emotion. Somebody younger, he's not gonna hold that same fire to the flame, if you will. He's a good possible. How about that? He's a good possible.
Okay, I got you. Oh, I got an actor. I don't know if it's going to work, but I've seen him be a little bit dark in Den of Thieves.
Okay.
Possibly be Iron Man if he can work out his accent. Gerard Butler.
Yes. He would be a good dark Iron Man. Yes. Yes, because I've seen him in the dark role before.
So we solved that issue. Who would be the new Iron Man? Now, Captain America is going to be even tougher. And the reason why I say that is Chris Evans was the best person. He owned that role. Okay. It would take a miracle for him to come back and reprise his role as Captain America after Phase 6, when Kang just messes up everything and brings everything after. Apparently, this is supposed to happen after Secret Wars. We all know in Secret Wars, we are going to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man in that movie with Tom Holland. He's already understood that. I hope.
What about Venom? What about him?
We forgot about Venom. I think MCU forgot about Venom.
They shouldn't. He's critical.
He is critical.
He's a critical piece.
The multiverse affects him deeply.
He could walk through the multiverse.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he had that special ability. Wow. You just told me something new. But let's
if I'm not mistaken, when they switched the the dimension when the snap came back and he was in a different spot.
Mm-hmm.
Venom is like, where are we?
Mm-hmm.
And it took Brock it
Mm-hmm.
took Brock a few minutes, and even Brock was like, yeah, where are we?
Mm.
Like it took him a minute, but Venom was on it like, nah, we're not in the same place. He's like, there's something, it has something to do with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He pointed Spider-Man out. It was like, it has something to do with that guy. We need to find that guy.
But let's I love to talk about Spider-Man all day long, bro. I mean, we could go all night with this podcast about this, but I'm trying to keep it within the 55-minute mark.
Oh, we could
That's
do
what
that.
I want to bless the people
Mhm.
and have people join us on the next part 2. We gotta have a part 2, bro.
We could do that. I'm
We
up
gotta,
for it.
we gotta have a part 2. We can have a part 2 Monday night. This coming Monday night. It's gonna be a little later in the evening because JoeyG has to work. I have to work.
Mhm.
But I don't want to announce the time yet.
Mhm.
But who would you see as replacing Chris Evans as Captain America? I have these two people I'm thinking about, but also these two people this person could replace Chris Hemsworth as Thor as well, and which would be his brother Liam Hemsworth. What's your thoughts on that for Captain America for Liam Hemsworth?
Liam Hemsworth. It's a good pick. I don't necessarily that would be my final choice.
Mm-hmm.
I put it to you like that. He's a good a stand-in. He's a good stand-in, but I don't think he would be my final choice.
Now, God rest his soul, Paul Walker. He could have been Captain America. He could have been Captain America, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could
Yes.
see that.
Yes. I think Chris Evans, lucked. I hate to say that death. I think Chris Evans was the perfect guy for Captain America. But if Paul Walker was still alive at the time they were doing Captain America,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been Paul Walker's role.
Mm-hmm.
He may have to bulk up a little bit, but
with the people he was hanging around, that was a possibility. You didn't have to worry about that.
who else, bro? How do you feel about Ryan Gosling?
What was Ryan Gosling? Yeah, Ryan Gosling. Let's see. If you get it before me, let me know.
I may have to share the screen with you, bro. Let me see. Let me see if I can share my screen, guys.
Who'd you say for who now?
Captain America.
For Captain America?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he? He looks too much like the Mysterio dude.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh yeah, my bad. Jake Gyllenhaal could have been Iron Man too.
Jake Gyllenhaal could, yeah, he could have
He
been.
could be a dark Iron Man too.
And you saying Josh for Captain America? Ken? The dude that played Ken?
Yeah, I think. Okay, bro, you got me on that one. I got you. You can't have somebody who's Ken on Barbie be Captain America. I got you. Next, next.
You trying to kill the role of Captain America? What is going on, man?
Okay, I got another actor for you. Damn, I wish he didn't have his issues. There's two more actors I could definitely use for Captain America.
Who you got?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Mm-hmm.
For Captain America?
Yeah. Or Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel.
He was in Transformers. He was the general in Transformers, the Nest team. He was the leader of the Nest team.
Okay. Let me see. I have to look at his face.
Look at his face. Is this name is Duhamel? Josh Dumel.
Duhamel.
Yeah,
Dumel. And you said for Captain America?
yeah.
I could see it. But he has more of a he could probably play like a Iron Man. He could play a dark Iron Man because he
Okay.
has the edge. That edge with Captain America, you still have to have that pretty boy. You got to throw that pretty boy or baby face, role.
Are you saying Colin? You saying Colin Farrell can't have the baby face?
Colin Farrell is what we're looking for is the dark.
Mm-hmm.
You said a dark Captain America. If it's a dark Captain America, you have it.
Mm.
Bullseye.
Yes.
His role is his Bullseye minus the comic part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see it. Like I could see it.
Mm. Wow.
Like if you wanted to turn them all dark, then I would have something to talk about. But
No, because the reason being is this whatever happens in Kang Dynasty, whatever happens in Secret Wars,
Mhm.
is gonna bring everything back.
Right.
So I could see a scenario where you will see. Let's put it this way, bro. I'm convinced Robert Downey Jr. will come back and reprise a version of Iron Man in the multiverse, a version of
Yes.
it.
Yes, I agree with that too.
But when the final situation happens,
Hmm.
I believe someone else is going to be Iron Man.
But I keep going back to what Doctor Strange said. It starts and ends with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the key to the whole multiverse issue after the snap. He's the key.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason I believe that Iron Man had a glimpse of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came down to him making the nanobite iron gauntlet,
Mm-hmm.
the iron gauntlet, and doing the snap
Mm-hmm.
because he knew the beginning and the end.
Right.
And let's not forget there were nanobites
Yeah.
in his suit
Mm-hmm.
that helped heal him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like,
This story is not over for Robert Downey Jr. It's not over.
right? I don't feel it is.
It's not over. As Iron Man, it's not over. I don't believe it's not going to be. It's not over yet.
And
But
then
we could. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen the Nick Fury one,
Mm-hmm.
Secret Wars. I don't know if you've seen that, but
The Secret Invasion. I did see that.
Secret Invasion. But his he was supposed to be dead too.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be dead. So if he was considered MIA, dead, or whatever the case may be, why can't they do that with Iron Man? I
Of
see it
course.
common. I see they kind of do it in different things.
Mm-hmm. But check it out though. If they could do that, they could do that with Iron Man, and they could possibly. I had a thought in my mind. I just lost the train of thought.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna continue on with the podcast. We're not gonna cut it short. We're not even gonna do a part two. We're gonna go talk about everything in this episode. We'll find a way to recast the entire episode, to replay the entire episode for everybody to watch it on YouTube and on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube is always gonna be there, so we're gonna keep continuing on. But we need to figure out who's going to be the next Captain America.
Yeah,
Who could be?
well, before we get there, what we can do is this.
Mm-hmm.
In about 15 minutes, we'll say goodbye, but at the same time, we're just going to a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be the part 2. After that, we'll just cut it from that point, and then the editing will continue.
Yes. All right. So, okay. Let's do it this way. I'm stuck with Captain America. Who could take that role?
It's a hard role to fill.
For me, it has to be Chris Evans or bust. Kevin Feige has to figure out a way to bring Chris Evans back in the fold. They have to be.
I want to say that. I have to say this though. It would be a dream of mine if they recast for Bishop, right? Bishop from
X-Men.
Busta Rhymes.
He doesn't have the dreads anymore.
And that's the only thing, but you don't think they could prosthetically put that back on?
But they can. But there's also a version of Bishop who has the cut like Buster has a cut.
Mm-hmm.
The Caesar cut.
Right.
So you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Buster got the bulk. He got the bulk and the acting skills to pull it off.
Right.
He can pull it off. He definitely pull it off. That'll be after everything is done with this saga MCU. Then I believe with X-Men and X-Men coming back into the frame.
Right. And you got to do Deadpool. Deadpool is like the setup for it, though. We got to get past Deadpool. Because I seen the original costume on Hugh Jackman. I was like, fuck out of here.
The yellow, the
yellow blue.
You know what it is? It's going to be a tough thing for us to adjust because we're so used to him not being in the suit, him being in street clothes and doing what he was doing.
Right.
So it's going to be an adjustment. But now I'm gonna go to Thor. Let's go to Thor, and then we're gonna jump right into Black Panther, T'Challa.
Okay, we could do that.
But we're gonna wait. I guess we can wait until we do our little commercial break and say goodbye. Commercial break, and then we come back with the part 2 right away live. I just wish I had more videos to play during that little intermission, but it is what it is, right? Okay. Chris Hemsworth, that was his role. Just like Tom Hiddleston's role as Loki. That was their role. They own that role.
Right.
Who could come back and be Thor? If Chris Hemsworth doesn't want to do it anymore. Like money talks. By the end of the day, money talks. With as far as RDJ and Chris Hemsworth. Chris Evans is totally done with the acting. He's totally done with Hollywood. He doesn't want to come back. We both understood that. We both understand. We both understand the reasons why. Holly weird. Run away when you can.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, money does talk, bro. It does talk. I do see his brother probably taking up the mantle as Thor. I can see that.
Oh wait, I didn't even consider this. We were talking about Paul Walker's brother, maybe.
He was just a stand-in for Paul Walker. He's not really an actor. Not really for me. I can't rock that. I cannot rock that, bro.
Okay.
I can't rock that.
Shut it down.
that was rejected by Ewing. No, we can't rock that. We can't rock that.
Shut it.
But
down.
it's a lot. It's actually a lot to think about, bro. As far as Thor goes,
Thor is a big role to fill.
If push, if you can't do it with Chris Helmsworth, I don't know who you could do it with. I don't. It doesn't come to my mind right now. I'm sorry.
Do you have a wrestler that you could probably fill in that? Do you think a wrestler you could think of?
No. And the rest, I probably would say he's too old. That
Who?
possibly would be Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
Not I wouldn't go with Miz. Miz, I can't take Miz seriously. This face doesn't make you serious.
No.
I think Chris Jericho could pull it off if he was younger.
Yes, I agree.
Seth Rollins, you can't do with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins could be a fucking villain in the MCU, a very bad villain.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wrestling. I don't see anybody in AE. Wait a minute. Yes, I find there is a wrestler that could do it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit older, but I think he could pull it off. Edge.
Yeah.
Edge.
That'd be a good choice.
Edge. As we're getting close to our goodbyes and commercial break,
Mm-hmm.
you know, due to the fact that I would love to recast these episodes, we have to keep it within the 55-minute limit.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying? We will be back on the dial in about a minute or so to start part 2 of this. We got to finish this off.
Right.
We got to finish it off. We still haven't even got to back who my vote is to recast as Black Panther. So we're going to talk about that next.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, as JoeyG is chewing right now, he's naked without his beer.
Yeah, I am.
And because my stomach is like going crazy right now, I can't even drink alcohol right now. So we're just kind of like not helping the whole episode right now. Okay. All right. So let's leave it there. Let's leave it there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely catch this podcast on YouTube, Patreon. Audio version, Anchor, iHeart Radio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and all other platforms that deliver the audio version of this podcast. It's your man, Big Dom. We're going to sign off for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be back right away. So we're going to continue with the conversation.
Right.
True Players Podcast. Here on True Players Podcast. We're going to sign off for now. We'll be back in a minute. Peace. Holla at y'all. What's good, everybody? It's your man, Big Dom, coming live and at you on the True Players Podcast episode, hitting you with the in-your-face, unedited, straight, blunt talk about sports, finances, relationships, current events, and many other topics along the way. Check out my next episode. What's good, everybody? It's man Big Dom back with JoeyG, back on the True Players Podcast. Once again, continue our conversation in regards to the MCU reboot after Phase 6 of the MCU universe. We were just talking about previously about
Mhm.
who should be rebooting, who should be the new actor if they reboot. When they reboot, we already discussed Iron Man, Colin Farrell. We kind of like kicked Tom Cruise to the curb when it comes to that role. Captain America, we still up in the air who could definitely take him over. We did mention Ryan Gosling, Ken from Barbie. We just disqualified him because of that movie. And we did select Josh Duhamel
Mhm.
as possibly somebody who could take the mantle of Captain America. And we just left off the last episode talking about who could take the role of Thor. And
Mhm.
me and JoeyG did mention that we could do Liam Hemsworth,
Mhm.
and the one wrestler that could probably take the mantle that we believe would be Edge, Adam Copeland.
Mhm.
Let's continue the conversation, JoeyG. Let's continue it.
Well, you heard where we at. You know what I'm saying? We caught you up in that little bit of time. It wasn't that long ago.
No,
We were just here.
we were just here. Listen, 1 minute ago, we were literally just here, but we go
Literally.
literally. Yes.
I am
So
Groot.
now, let me ask you a question.
Go
Now
for it.
that you mentioned I Am Groot, we mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy. They did that final episode.
Right.
I'm
Well,
not for moving having characters in the same MCU universe playing two characters. We did talk about Chris Evans went from Human Torch to Captain America.
mhm.
All right. Can Chris Pratt move on from Star Lord and become Thor?
Mm. No.
No. Okay.
No.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
Because there's too much there. Like us, Chris Pratt likes to eat. Okay. Like us, Chris Pratt likes to eat, and he's not ashamed of it. So, no.
Got you. Now, let's put it to you like, okay, so we had a stance of who could replace Chris Hemsworth. I think they have to come up with the amount of money to bring him back.
Mhm.
And
At this-
it has to be the right director too. He's very big on directors.
Right.
Who he's willing to work with. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
the chemistry has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything that I learned from at least Denzel Washington, chemistry, picking the right role, and chemistry on set, man. Morally, what you connect with, because he chooses you. Certain actors are choosy with their roles, the implications of that role, and how it's gonna feel down the road. Like you plan all that stuff out in the beginning when you're choosing your roles.
Right.
Some of the younger actors, yes, they want the money, but when they're established and they've gotten the bag, after they've gotten the bag multiple times, now you have a right to choose wisely. I can't work with that director. We don't mesh well.
Right.
Find a director that you mesh with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not at the stage where you have to deal with it. You're not there anymore. Your values increased. You increased as an actor. Like Robert Downey Jr. before his role as Iron Man, he couldn't. He would have to deal with it. After Iron Man, no, we're gonna sit at the table. We're gonna make the deal. Even though he was brought to the table, But hey, what about him? Then that role did something. Everybody made money. Now you can come back to the table and say, "Nah, I want this." That's what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at least that's what I see. That's what
Gotcha.
I've seen. And I would feel the same way. Like I'm making the money now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I gonna go backwards?
True, true. All right. So now, how can I get into this, bro?
Mm-hmm.
We had a stance of who's going to reboot as Thor. We could safely say that we
We
are at
are.
a standstill. I can't even say the dude from True Blood, the long hair dude, Eric Eric, what was his name? Eric Skarsgård or
Oh.
Alex Skarsgård, the one that was in True Blood, the one that played
Mhm.
Eric.
Eric, and
Yeah.
also played Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible
That was a horrible role. That was a horrible role for him.
for
I think
him.
it hurt his career doing that role.
They picked wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I get what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong person.
Yeah.
Now you could take the Thor we already know, and you
Mm-hmm.
could have put him in the role as Tarzan, and I would have been good with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, moving on from Tarzan. That
Let's
was a
let's move,
horrible move.
let's
That's
move on. Let's move on from Thor. Let's move on from Thor. So I think we're both
this.
in agreement. Kevin Feige has to grease them palms of Chris Hemsworth to come back as Thor. There's no way
Yeah.
around it.
No,
Period.
yeah. Right now he has the mantle,
Yeah. Period.
and we've gotten comfortable with that version of Thor,
Yes.
and I believe people are just as attached to him as they are to Iron Man. So yeah,
And Loki.
and Loki. If they
And
can't
Loki.
switch, they cannot switch Loki at this point.
No. No. No.
Cannot.
That's Tom Hiddleston's role. And for funny part is about Tom Hiddleston, he has done other movies. You know how certain actors are afraid to play certain roles because they're afraid to be typecast.
Right.
With him, he's very what's the word I'm trying to catch is versatile. There you go, versatile with the role.
Okay.
Yeah, I see him in other movies. When he plays other movies, you don't say, "Oh, there goes Loki." No, he's playing that role. That's the role he's playing in that specific
Right.
movie. And I forgot the movie I saw him in. He did a hell of a job of that movie. It made you forget that he actually acted as Loki in the MCU. It really did. Did a hell of a job. And that just goes to writing too, also.
True.
So now let's get to the main the nitty gritty. Why we did these episodes here about the MCU reboot is because possibility of bringing back T'Challa as the Black Panther, who should be who should recast him.
Mm-hmm.
I have two choices.
Mm.
Two choices. But before I get into that, okay? Before I get into all of that, we all love Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
He will forever be in our hearts as the Black Panther.
True.
As T'Challa.
Right.
This is no way disregarding his memory or anything like that. People were on the fence whether or not they should recast him or not.
Mm-hmm.
I like Wakanda Forever. There's something was amiss with that movie. Something was missing in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it took away from, dare I say it, I hate to be misogynist, the masculine energy from the masculine human being. Became, I am every woman.
Okay. I agree with that. That feeling.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowed to feel that. We're
Mm-hmm.
allowed to feel that. There was a lot of masculine energy, but it was from female characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supportive of women being empowered,
Mm-hmm.
but they also have to be feminine. They also have to be feminine.
Right.
That wasn't what we came to see. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what I was expecting to see wasn't what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Good storyline, everything like that. The story worked out,
Hmm.
but as you said, it was empty. It was empty. It was missing the king in that situation. It was missing a king, and that's what I felt from the movie, the whole movie.
Hmm.
Could we watch it again? I would rather. What was that other movie that they um can't think of her name.
Hmm.
I am thinking of Suicide Squad.
Hmm.
Uh, what's her name? The the one that put the Suicide Squad together.
I forgot. That's more your that's DC. That's more of your terrain, bro.
Can't think of the actress's name,
Hmm.
but you know who she is.
Right.
Very strong female actor.
Oh, what's her name? Oh, Viola Davis.
Viola Davis. The movie
Right.
that she did.
Hmm.
If you compare that movie to Wakanda Forever, the
Hmm.
energy that was in that movie was totally different than the energy that was in Wakanda Forever.
Mm.
For the people that think I may be misogynistic in the way I'm thinking, no, I thought the stronger presence of the women that I seen in that movie was what it should have been as far as Wakanda Forever.
Hmm.
Um, not one is standing on the necks of men, which I
Hmm.
feel Forever was doing,
Hmm.
and the other movie was showing empowerment of women
Okay.
being in a strong role, like taking up the mantle. Yes, we protect the king, but
Hmm.
still the king was still in charge.
Right.
The king was the main piece.
Right.
Just like the chessboard, they protected the king.
Right.
They understood their role.
Right.
No, the king's not here. This is what Wakanda Forever was. The king is not here. We're going to do it this way.
Hmm.
That's what it felt like. If I had to show people and explain it to people, that's my synopsis of the whole situation, if you will.
Okay.
Um, yes, we missed Chadwick Boseman in the movie, and he can't. There's nobody that could replace what he's done with that, but they have to continue the legacy.
Right.
They have to continue the legacy. We already saw that he had a son, so that's a good starting point. We don't
Hmm.
have to start. We don't have to start right after his death and everything like that. But we can wait till his son grows up, and then from that point start a new line.
Hmm.
The only thing that's gonna challenge that a little bit is the MCU's timeline
Hmm.
and getting him with the Avengers and everything like that,
Right.
as far as that is concerned, unless there's some way to intertwine him into the multiverse issue, the
Right.
sun, where he was in the future, came back,
Hmm.
something like that,
Okay.
where he caught a glimpse of the future and had to come back to this timeline to figure things out before he could go back there.
Okay.
That
You're not the first person that mentioned that to me, and I like the idea. I do. The
Mhm,
way you explain it to me is the way it should. If you're going to do that without
mhm,
disrespecting the memory of Chadwick Boseman, that would
mhm,
be the best way to do it.
mhm.
The best way to do it. But there is an alternative way of doing it, which now presents us the multiverse.
Yeah.
We're in the multiverse right now.
Mhm,
All this phase about multiverses. This is a very good way to intertwine the new Black Panther, the new T'Challa
mhm,
into the game here.
mhm.
Now you could go. Can they do an AI version of Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther? It's quite possible they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite possible they could do that. They did that with
Right.
Paul Walker.
Right.
Why not do it with Chadwick Boseman without losing the effect?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd see your point, and I think if Marvel, I'm not gonna say if Marvel's smart. I think Marvel did a hell of a job with their series.
Mm-hmm.
I think Endgame was on such a high.
Mm-hmm.
Anything after that would be a dramatic drop, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dramatic drop. The Wanda series was a disappointment because it came after the Endgame. You
Okay.
feel me? It was a disappointment because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas No Way Home with Tom Holland,
Mm-hmm.
multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange,
Mm-hmm.
kind of kept it a little bit. It dropped a little bit. At
Right.
least it wasn't a big drop.
Right.
Those were the top movies of Marvel after the Endgame, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion,
I see your point.
you know what I'm saying? Because you know what it is, the multiverse, No Way Home and multiverse are linked together.
Yes.
They're linked together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but nevertheless, that would be a good way to introduce the new T'Challa. Have his son, like you said, come back from the future,
Mm-hmm.
from a different universe,
Right.
and
I was just about to say that.
yeah, from a different universe, and
Mm-hmm.
do it that way. But this is my pick for the Black Panther, the actor, the role of T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about this last night, bro.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Yelan Noel.
Noel. Yes.
He was in The Purge.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody watched The Purge? I forgot which Purge movie. He was the one. He was like the gangster that was trying to protect everybody from
Mm-hmm.
The Purge. Him, and he kind of resembles Chadwick Boseman a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you really look at it, if you just
Mm-hmm.
glance at it, he does resemble him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. There's a thicker version,
Mm-hmm.
a thicker face version of Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, and you know what it is too, bro? He does possess a darker version of the Black Panther.
Yes.
First persona.
Right.
That's the thing.
And
You never know. You never know if
when Siri says, "Show them who you are," yeah, you're gonna see a different version of Black Panther.
you know how to suck it. I'm gonna give you a scenario right now, bro. If they use him as the son of Chadwick Boseman, I could see how he could come back from the future to come back into the previous timeline with Killmonger, the Rage. What Killmonger did to prevent him from saving his father's life, kill those herbs, vibranium herbs. He may be coming back to fight Killmonger in the madness. Think about that. That'll be a perfect scenario.
Yeah, you could bring them both back in essence.
Yeah. And then the people gonna see a darker version. People gonna think it's T'Challa, but it's not really T'Challa. It's really his son. But he's gonna be in a mode of anger and darkness because he grew up without his father. And that's why I say Elan Noel should be reprised role as Black Panther as T'Challa, whether it's the son or the actual recast of Chadwick Boseman. You could do it either way. I hope Marvel's watching because I think I'm giving you guys ideas. I may even tag Kevin Feige on this. I may give you guys some ideas. Ryan Coogler, I'll give you guys ideas how this could work. I really am. And the next person I do have that could possibly take on the mantle of T'Challa, whether it's the son or the actual recast of the current T'Challa. How do you feel about John David Washington, Denzel's son?
He's a strong enough actor. Yeah.
You know who was just go ahead, bro. I'm gonna let you
Go
finish.
ahead. No, I said he's a strong enough actor.
You know who just popped into my head?
Oh,
That's possible
I
Black
was,
Panther.
I was thinking Wesley Snipes.
No,
But
no. We haven't even talk about Blade yet. You know who I think
who?
who could be Black Panther?
Who?
That could possibly do the African accent. The kids
Hmm.
is doing the accent. Actually, two people,
Who?
but really, it's only that this guy could do it because the other guy I was gonna mention already has a role in the MCU. Already has a role in the MCU. That's
Who's that?
Idris Elba. Idris Elba. He's already has a role in MCU as Heimdall. Already has a role. You can't. I hate to do it. I hate to do it. But that's not the guy I'm talking about, though.
Okay. Who are you talking about?
Damson Idris, Snowfall. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. That he could challenge Elan Noel for that role. I'm telling you.
Okay. But I still say Noel probably would would
Okay.
would body it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Noel would body it. But
Mhm.
he's strong consideration. How about that? A
It
strong
sounds good.
consideration.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So we came on agreement who could replace T'Challa.
Yes.
Okay. We squared that away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud we got that squared away. Now, how does it happen? How do you think, bro? Let me ask you a question. How do you think it's going to happen? Where all this is going to transpire after Phase 6? How do you think it's going to transpire?
All right, there's a lot of things that are going on with the multiverse. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things going on with that. There's a lot of things going on with the Kang dynasty and them messing with the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see Loki yet, but as far as the timeline is concerned, it's been manipulated also.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go into too much details because I'm not going to ruin it for you, but
Don't ruin it for me.
it's 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 ruined on a lot of different areas. We
Mm-hmm.
can Spider-Man, we could say from Spider-Man to Doctor Strange, and now we're talking about the Loki series, the quantum universe. Like all of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff is going on at the same time, and you're looking at the timeline and it's messed up.
Yeah.
The timeline is messed up. So anywhere in there has to be a fracture. So if there's a fracture, there's a break in time. There's a possibility for a strand to be different from the rest.
Right.
So it leaves opportunity for these type of stories to start. Or branch off from where one ended to a new.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite possible that Chikala died from a disease, or
Mm-hmm.
did he get sickness because he was in the wrong dimension?
Mm.
Did he die in the wrong dimension and the Chikala that's supposed to be in that dimension?
Mm-hmm.
Think of the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse,
Mm-hmm.
where you kind of glitch out because you're not in the right. They say if you're in the wrong dimension for too long, you're gonna die in that dimension
Right.
because your molecules are not set for that specific dimension.
It's a good way of doing it. And I'm not
Right.
gonna lie to you. It is a good way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. I've seen. Well, you haven't seen it, but I kind of seen something similar in Loki, the newer season,
Mm-hmm.
where they didn't explain it, but the first thing I thought was Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
So, in trying to create a new timeline for Chikala to be present, that would be
Mm-hmm.
a perfect scenario. We can explain that away and start
Mm-hmm.
from this point on, where Shuri can still be the sister of Black Panther, and moving forward, if Angela Bassett wanted to be a part of the series moving forward, we can explain it from that point forward.
We still got as far as Black Panther is concerned, we
Hmm.
still gotta explain the marriage between him and Storm.
We have to go back, but we can do that with the new Jakala.
Yeah. Of course, that's the only way it can be done, and you would have to do another you would have to do another Black Panther movie
Hmm.
in the multiverse with a different Black Panther,
Right,
a different T'Challa
right.
to explain that side. And I feel that's where the X-Men, if it's done properly with the writing, that's when you see bringing in the X-Men into the fold that way, on the back door of that. As far as Storm's arc, you bring it to the back door from there.
And we're gonna have to. This is one thing that Marvel has not done
Mm-hmm.
with the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
From what we grew up on, we
Mm-hmm.
understood them as kids.
Mm-hmm.
Certain X-Men we knew as kids.
Right.
So we need to go further back and explain them as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers, which would be Storm,
Mm-hmm.
which would be Wolverine,
Mm-hmm.
Professor X. We got a touch of that. We
Right.
got a touch of that, but not every character was magnified in that. We need to go back and magnify the characters that weren't. Where did they come from?
Right.
Where they, all of that. We need to do that, the pre-story to that, and then bring them forward. Like, it
Right.
doesn't have to be a whole movie. We don't have to do a whole movie,
Mm-hmm.
but we need a backstory, kind of like Batman, the origin story. We need something like that with all these characters. Then we bring them back to the fold, and we could cut it off at a certain point when they're assembled.
Right.
Now they see a challenge. From that challenge, that's the next movie.
Right.
But we have to get them up to that point.
Okay. Okay. Fair points. Fair points, bro. Fair points on that. So
Mhm.
we did mention earlier in the previous episode
Mm-hmm.
about Blade,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the
we touched on them briefly.
the Kang Dynasty effect,
Mm-hmm.
in which where I could definitely see both Wesley Snipes and Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Mm-hmm.
I think I wouldn't say I would not go as far as saying that Marvel owes Wesley Snipes that opportunity,
Mm.
but they do owe him that opportunity because he was the one that introduced this MCU to the world in his Blade series. Your thoughts on that?
All right, let's start off with this.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther wouldn't be a thought on the MCU's radar if it wasn't for Wesley Snipes.
Mm-hmm.
As much as he was trying to pitch it, and it was probably after Coming to America,
Mm-hmm.
where the idea, and he wanted to do it so bad. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't give him that role. We weren't looked at as heroes to
Mm-hmm.
that degree at that time. So putting him in that role, I don't think they were with that, especially at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Black King, and that's too much. No, we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was cast as a vampire, a
Mm-hmm.
daywalker. We could
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Right.
Oh, he's he cusses, he kills things. Yeah, we could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we get down to brass tacks. That's pretty much what it was at the time. It wasn't a good fit, um, because society wasn't ready to see something like that on the screen yet. It was
Mm-hmm.
getting there. It was getting there, but not at that time.
Mm-hmm.
When Chikala stepped in the role, I believed it was a subtle thing. Oh, this is a
Mm-hmm.
smart actor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he can act. Oh,
Mhm.
he has good decorum. Like, yeah, we could put him on the screen.
Right.
Like it was like he won the crowd over.
Mm-hmm.
He won the crowd over. Um, Wesley Snipes fit the stereotypes that most black artists at the time uh, that they wanted on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was. They have a picture. They had a certain picture in a certain box that they wanted you in, and they're going to keep you in that box. So
Mm-hmm.
Blade was a perfect thing for Wesley at that time. Could he
Mm-hmm.
have done the Chikala role? Possibly. Would he have bodied it as Chaswick? I don't think so, because charismatically, I think Chadwick Boseman had it over Wesley Snipes.
Got you. But as far as the fighting skills, you have to give it to Wesley.
Wesley Snipes has fighting skills inside acting and outside acting. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that part he's a martial artist. We
Mm-hmm.
know that. We know
Mm-hmm.
that behind the scenes that he's a martial artist. There's no question in that. Caught the attention probably of uh what's his name? Sean Connery.
Yeah.
It caught the attention of Sean Connery to put him side by side in a movie together.
Mm-hmm.
Because Sean Connery is a good excuse me, the late Sean Connery is a good actor.
Definitely. My guy Zach joined us. Definitely great meeting you today as well. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. All right, all right. Definitely, but check it out, bro.
Go ahead.
We I want to stick with Blade, but we're gonna go back to how Wesley Snipes can still be an effect in the Black Panther series
Okay.
using the multiverse. Kang, you see, you could develop so many different movies because of the Kang Dynasty and create different scenarios. But Wesley Snipes,
Hold on. Hold
wait,
on. I see where you're going with this. Hold on.
okay, okay,
Hold
okay,
on.
okay.
You touched briefly on it if you want to save it for ego tripping for the
Yeah,
DC stuff, but I have to throw this in there real quick
okay, I
because
got
you watched the movie The Flash.
you. Yeah.
Um how they had the different Earths
Mm-hmm.
when you seen the original Superman,
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Reeves, you seen
Yes.
Supergirl and all of that, and did you see the the Nicolas Cage version of Superman?
Mm-hmm.
If they could do that in DC, why can't they do that in Marvel? On that that picture, the collage that you just seen, we could do it in the storyline in Marvel.
You mentioned Nicolas Cage, bro. That was disgusting in Flash. That was straight butt ugly.
It was, but at the same
Not,
time,
not because of Nicolas Cage. I think that just the presentation of him as Superman was just bad. I'm sorry, it
but
was just bad.
my imagination made it look better than what they did CGI wise.
Mhm.
It's like I could see it to a certain degree, and I said, I got it. Yeah, that would be cool. It could
Mhm.
have been. And yes, the dark haired Superman with the long hair. Yeah. And he's kind of like bearded up. Yeah. I've seen that in the comics. So I was like, eh. Would it be a spectacular movie that everybody would want to watch? I don't know. But anime wise, possibility.
But
Move,
all right, bro.
move on from that.
Me bust go back to how Wesley Snipes could have been introduced into the Black Panther universe using the Kang Dynasty and the multiverse, things like that. They could have easily introduced Wesley Snipes as T'Chaka.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I don't know if you've seen Coming to America too, but
Yeah,
I was with it.
I was with it. No, no, he did a very good job
Hmm.
in Coming to America too.
Hmm.
That's why I said the possibilities open up for Black Panther as several different movies
Hmm.
in the Black Panther series, and you go to retro in the past with
Yes,
Wesley Snipes. But keep in mind one thing: Wesley Snipes is 60 years old,
he is.
so the time frame is very short for him to even do that type of movie.
Hmm.
And I'll guarantee you, you put Wesley Snipes and Yolanda Noel as father and son in a Black Panther multiverse spinoff, I believe that movie could work
Mm-hmm.
with good writing and all that stuff. It could work.
Mm-hmm.
It could work.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, and I thank God the strike is over for the writers and all that stuff. You to get back to business and start writing some great content for us to watch.
Oh, we're
Um,
missing so much right now. Like
yeah.
I've never had this much of a drought watching movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Big
There's a,
time.
there's a drought, and horror movies. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of horror movies that just came out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't say that they're original.
Mm-hmm.
Exorcist, we've seen The Exorcist. Yes, there's different versions of the Exorcist movies. Yes, there's different stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
The one recently that I seen that I kind of liked was the Pope's exorcism.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty good. But getting back to, I'm glad they figured it out because
Mm-hmm.
we need them to get back to work.
Right.
We need
Right.
them to get back to work and the actors to get back in and perform some of this stuff and get it on screen. I'm with
Correct.
that. I'm with that. I'm glad they figured that out.
Mm-hmm.
Now it leaves room for people like us to sit there and make some notes and slide it that way and see, can I get some of that?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get some of that. I need that.
Mm-hmm.
But these ideas that we're talking about, as far as these stories that could be presented,
Mm-hmm.
is how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
That's their bread and butter.
Right.
Pay them for that. Pay them well. They're the ones. They're the catalyst to this whole project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand. Directing is a big deal. Production is a big deal. Everybody has their roles to play,
Mm-hmm.
but give them a piece of the pie too. Give them a piece of the pie. That's like a hip hop artist, manager taking their cut, the industry taking their cut, and the artist is left with a small portion. That shouldn't be.
Right.
It shouldn't be. It just be fair. Be
Mm-hmm.
fair. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Or give if make it worth their while. Okay, for this we'll pay you this, but we got other things in store. Make it worth their while so they know they're consistent.
Right.
So there's not a drought for them. They have consistent work. There's ways to do it where it's still fair and everybody gets their money.
Got you. So definitely, let's get back to Blade. Let's get back
Blade,
to the Kang Dynasty, Blade, Wesley Snipes, Mahershala Ali. How
mhm.
that's going to get to intertwine. They have an opportunity to intertwine that. You know what it is, bro. I feel that they're gonna rush through phase. What phase are they in? Phase 6 or phase 5? Phase 6.
I think it
They
is.
can drag. They have opportunities to make most of the movies between now and 2025 to make
Mhm.
everything make sense.
They
Make
do.
everything that makes sense to come back to raise the bar up back where the end game left us. And that's what the Blade movies, that's what the Black Panther movies, that's where it's gonna come from.
I see the way they had it laid out in the beginning when we started seeing the phases and what they had planned and in store. It looked like that's what it was going to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
the big hype up to a certain point, drop us for a second, then pick us back up. Because like the to be continued,
Right.
that to be continued feeling, and then
Mm-hmm.
bring you back into another movie where it seemed hopeless and there was a good ending,
Mm-hmm.
and while things are still messed up,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it was fixed, but things are still messed up. That's where
Right.
they left us at.
Right.
Now we're at that point where things are messed up. Now they got messed up even more,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going through this transitional period.
Right.
Yeah, I want to see Blade back on the screen. I would love to see the original back on screen.
Mm-hmm.
What would make me laugh if they brought Whistler back one more time. Um, I don't think
I,
they're gonna. I don't think. Well, if they do bring Ryan Reynolds back, he's not gonna be a part of Blade's team. He's going to probably be Deadpool.
no, probably no. It's probably both are gonna be Deadpool, and I can see a dynamic happening where that happens because I'm quite sure the Marvel directors, Kevin Feige understands the beef that he has with Wesley Snipes,
Mm-hmm.
and it still could work.
But putting them on screen
Mm-hmm.
at this point in time, where they're both more mature and
Mm-hmm.
their acting thing, they could still utilize that,
Mm-hmm.
especially for Deadpool's role.
Mm-hmm.
Wesley Snipes' role, as far as Blade, is a serious character.
Mm-hmm.
So that seriousness and Deadpool sarcasm and everything, yeah, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the screen together and let that play out. It
Right.
has it has to play out one way or the other. Let them get it out of their system,
Mm-hmm.
use the best takes, and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to get done.
You know who I could feel if they don't bring back the same Whistler guy that did with West Snipes.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I there's few people I think could be Whistler.
Hmm.
It was the remember that guy who was Alfred in the Alfred in the Justice League with the Ben Affleck
Yeah.
version.
Yes.
He could
Mm-hmm.
be Whistler.
Okay.
He could be Whistler.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else who could be Whistler? That the guy that portrayed Davros Seaworth. What do you think about that? That's out of the box. I just threw something at you.
I got somebody even
Davros.
better. Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to put his face together first.
Got you.
Mm, I just had his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta think what movie. I had to piece all this together. Mm, keep going, keep going. Come, keep talking. I'm gonna try to
No,
figure it out.
that's the only two I see could be Whistler outside of Chris Christopherson.
Chris Christopherson.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, another guy who could be Whistler. The dude that portrayed the Ghost Rider with the horse.
Okay.
That's one. Who else? Who else can do this? No, that's pretty much stuck for me, man. Pretty much that's I'm pretty much stuck with that. I think I could rock with that.
I totally left my head, so I'm not gonna remember it until probably later on. So I'm at a loss right now, but it's just for now because it'll
Just
come
for
back to
now.
me.
Got you. But definitely, we have the Blaze. How because of the Kang Dynasty, you could introduce Blade. You could introduce the Wesley Stiles Blade with
Mm-hmm.
the Mahashala version of Blade.
Mm-hmm.
And me and you was we talk about this many times about the Blade series and all that stuff. We did mention how the Wesley Stiles Blade could be a mentor to Mahashala Ali's Blade.
Right.
A mentor how to battle a vampire, so all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's another aspect that they could roll with.
Mm-hmm.
Which they could definitely investigate that. But I think the version that I brought to your attention was the multiverse version within the Kang Dynasty. While we're in this phase, that would be the multiverse version. I would probably lean more with if I was a writer about that. I don't know. That's what I would lean with. That's what I lean with.
I don't know.
But who knows? I'm
There's
not
so
Kevin
many
Feige.
there's so many cracks to fill in. It's kind of like
Mhm,
it's kind of like watching Power.
mhm.
To me, it's kind of like watching Power and Power Universe. Same
Fact.
thing. They leave cracks in there where they can fill in the gaps. It's
Mhm.
up to the writers to take advantages of where other writers have left off
Right.
and utilize those little gaps to make the story move even further
Right.
without taking away from the base of the whole story.
Correct.
So in a situation like Blade, yeah, remember the basis of his character and all of that. What's going on now in the multiverse? How can we tie in Blade in this part? Because it seems like the multiverse is getting shattered, so that means that dimensions are going to be opened up, not
Mhm,
only in the multiverse, but now we're dealing with fractured, um what do you call that, the the
mhm.
the casing of over the world, that the Doctor Strange and everybody is got to,
Spider-Man and
yeah, where they got everybody taken care of on a magical level. So
mhm,
that's being cracked. So in that being cracked, there's an opportunity for Blade to appear,
mhm,
just like we seen the other Spider-Mans come into the present day
mhm,
in this universe.
mhm.
So why not? Blade
Why
would be
not?
the Blade would be a perfect character to bring in. Seeing him back on screen, because I could just imagine it.
Mhm.
Seeing him back on the screen, like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like the first thing out of his mind is just like takes off his glasses, like, what the fuck is this?
Mhm,
Like, where am I right now? And then you would have Doctor Strange meet him
mhm.
for the beginning, for like the opening part. Doctor Strange would have to meet Blade in the beginning, or
Which blade? Which blade though? The Wesley Snipes version or the
Wesley
Mahershala
Snipes,
Ali?
Wesley
Okay.
Snipes version, because we're gonna get introduced to that other Blade,
Mm.
and the the one doing the introduction would be Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, your Blade? Then what about him?
Mhm,
At some point, I mean,
mhm.
there's so many ways to do it.
Right.
There's so many ways to do it.
Definitely, bro. Well, this has been a great podcast episode. I felt compelled to talk about this with my brother.
Hmm.
And now I'm even more motivated to do the DC version of this podcast on Ego Tripping with Joey G.
Hmm.
I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on the Flash,
Hmm.
and I like the movie.
Hmm.
A lot of people were not fans of the movie.
Hmm.
But I will save that for your episode on Ego
Hmm.
Trip with Joey G. So, bro, any final words before we end the podcast?
It's never too late. It's
Mm-hmm,
never too late to meet the goals and expectations that you have for yourself.
mm-hmm,
The time is now.
mm-hmm.
Start small and work your way big. Start
Gotcha,
small, work your way big.
gotcha.
I got a lot of projects coming up.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, we're gonna get ego tripping back on and running and everything like that. From beer convo and family to ego tripping.
mm-hmm,
That's gonna be the new podcast name and
mm-hmm,
moving forward. Um, ego tripping is more about the character that you see in front of you,
mm-hmm.
as far as your host, co-host, everything like that. That's the character that you see. But you're also gonna see me, Joey G, the version of me that you see on an everyday basis. That's why I call it ego tripping, because I'm tripping with Joey G and my ego. You're gonna see that on screen. I want you to see it. For those people who like to use degrees and stuff to basically show their status and how they are and everything like that. Um, this is just to show you that life experience is just as equal to what you've done um, professionally in your educational career. Life
Mm,
experience can equal that education that you had doing
mm,
books and paying your little loans and tuitions and things of that nature.
right.
And we can still have an educated conversation, even if we're just shooting the shit. Okay.
Mm, facts.
And I'm branching out, not only being a co-host on the True Players podcast, but I'm branching out as far as being a co-host on Talking Random Ish, which the next podcast is going to be November 4th and the 18th of November. So you can look for me, um, look for me as far as being a co-host on that, and that will be live in a radio setting, in a radio station setting,
Mm,
and live on probably YouTube. So you can check me out there. This is just the beginning of something that I promised a long time ago. Yes, you will see me on the radio. Yes, I will be a voice on the radio. That's what I'm working towards.
mm,
And we're close to making that happen. And when I say we, or anybody that knows me, when I say we, that means all of us. So if I'm in the door, that means those who are with me, they're coming with me too.
mm,
So my brother right here, you'll see him on there too. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And those people that I've tried to incorporate before and have on the podcast and put in front of the camera because I saw something in you or I called on you for your specific set of skills that you had
mm,
and didn't understand it at the time. Maybe when you see me in this light, you'll understand why I called you in that light.
mm,
My door is always open. It's never closed. They say unconditional love. I will always have that.
mm,
But if we need distance, we need distance. If I have to give you time, I'm going to give you time. That's what it is. My love never changes. Well, this is your man, Joey G, signing off for now as a co host on the True Players podcast. And we'll see you soon with Ego Tripping and Talking Random Ish with my man, Ricky King. Till then.
thanks, bro, for that great ending, great final words. I'm gonna give you guys for my final words is twofold.
Mhm.
Never let anybody tell you that you are not a winner. Just because things don't work out in other things does not mean you're a loser. It's just
Mhm.
that's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's not your path.
Mhm.
So don't never let nobody tell you that you're a loser. Unless you really do bad things and do evil things to people, then you definitely deserve that moniker. But don't let nobody else tell you that you're not a winner. We
Mhm.
all win.
Mhm.
When we wake up each morning, it's a gift from God that He gave us a chance to live another day of life.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Heaven is not guaranteed to any of us, but hell is.
True.
So we got to act accordingly and stop being so selfish and um, thinking about, oh, this guy just wants to lose. No, people have other techniques in getting the bag.
Mhm.
Respect those techniques and add to it. Don't become a distraction to that.
Mhm.
And keep the slick comments to yourself because no one owes you anything. No one owes anybody anything in this world.
True.
Whether you're a mentor or mentee, you all come together for a common cause. You come together to learn, teach, and learn. And remember that because the timing may not be right now,
Mhm.
but the fact that you guys have met is the reason why you meet
In the first place.
in the first place. Let's keep that in mind. Okay. Someone else's time is not your time.
Mm-hmm.
If a person says they're not available, they're not available. That's not because they want to sit on their ass, sit on their hands, and not do nothing. Probably because they got other projects they're working on too. Or maybe, just maybe, they're working on your project to make it better for them and for you in the future. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. And be open minded to that. So you can watch the podcast on YouTube at True Players Podcast, Patreon, True Players Podcast. Subscribe and follow the channels. Tell your friends about the True Players Podcast. Tell your friends about Ego Triple with JoeyG. Tell your friends about Random Ish. Tell your friends. Tell your friends about us. Subscribe to all those the podcast. Subscribe to my main man Mars, Down and Den podcast.
Down and Den.
Subscribe to my man Live Neutral, WDI. What the fuck's your problem podcast? Subscribe to that. You know what I'm saying? Buy his merch. Next podcast, I will incorporate his video to buy his merch and tell him Down from True Players Podcast has sent you. It's your man. Sign off for JoeyG, Big Dom. Hey, Taino's in the building, baby. Haitians and Puerto Ricans. Holla at your niggas. Peace.
Peace.